Be a deep shit.
Remember?
So,
Like last November.
Jeff, the camera's on and we're starting. Jeff, don't make me put your ethics in while the camera's on.
Why? What are you talking about?
The camera's on.
We're talking business over here. Monkey business.
So tonight, I'm gonna tell you a story. You guys interested in the story?
Yeah.
Should you get your teddy and your blanket?
I was gonna say, keep me away.
So I named the lecture, Four Men and an Elephant. Have you ever heard it before?
Hey.
You did the student guy, right? Four Men and an Elephant.
Oh, no. See, Lenny's eating the chocolates too, see?
Yeah, he don't throw his papers on the
Yeah, he
ground.
does. No. I make them into one ball.
So here we have this elephant and four men. Three of them are blind and one is not.
The elephants or the men?
Men. Well, there's one elephant, three men.
Okay.
So three of them are blind.
You sure?
I thought there were four men.
I said, there are four men, but three of them are blind,
Okay. But not the elephant.
not the elephant.
The elephant's not blind.
Oh, this is gonna be a tough story, Joe.
It is.
This is
You might
gonna be
take
a
45
tough
minutes
go.
to get through it.
This is gonna be a tough go, you can tell. So, one of the blind men goes over to the elephant, and he's poking around, prodding around, and he feels this big tusk. Right? And he's feeling the tusk, and he's messing around with it, and he's trying to figure out what the heck it is, and he comes up with this story. Feels like a sword. Somebody's standing here with a sword in front of me. Right? It's this big weapon. And he's feeling it, and he's feeling it, and he's convinced that it's a weapon. Okay? The other blind guy is feeling the elephant's trunk. And he's, prodding around, feeling the trunk, and he's convinced that this is a snake. It's a boa constrictor. This is a big, dangerous, mean snake. The third guy is feeling around and he feels one of the elephant's foot. And he's convinced that this is a tree trunk. Big, healthy, like redwood tree trunk. Right? And it's really, really a dead tree because it feels all funny. Okay? The fourth guy, who's not blind, is actually taking a picture of the whole thing. He's taking a picture of the blind guy with the tusk. The other guy feeling the trunk. The other guy feeling the leg of the elephant. Any conclusions yet? What the story's about?
Three blind elephants and one.
No, the
Whatever
elephant's
you
not
believe
blind
in.
yet.
Oh.
The guys are blind.
Right.
So there's only
It's how
one.
you interpret.
So there's only one
you want to
elephant. but
interpret
it's not
something
blind.
different.
Okay, so the guy that's got the trunk in his hand and believes it's a snake. What does he believe?
It's a snake. It's a snake.
Are you gonna change his mind?
No.
Why?
Because he's got a fixed idea and that idea.
Because he believes it. It's like who he is, right? One thing that I've noticed, and this is my own little saying, one thing that I've noticed traveling through different groups and different places and my experience, not saying it has to be your experience, people believe what they understand. If they don't understand it, they don't believe it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So misunderstandings cause what?
Blindness?
False belief, or blindness. He's still stuck on the blind man, right? I should have named this the Three Blind Mice. what was your answer? Because you eloquently said,
What? Misunderstanding.
yeah, so they have misunderstandings, so people can have misunderstandings, right? My question is, how does this relate to your business?
Well, you have a lot of misunderstandings about what you do. Misunderstandings about the words, the nomenclature. And if people don't understand it, then, and they have a fixed idea about it, then what's gonna happen is they're just gonna go out and say, well, I know all about this already and it's not for me, or they're never gonna get a clear understanding of what's going on. They won't buy, they won't participate.
Those are all the symptoms of the disease. But I agree with you.
Go blow.
Eventually, they will blow from the scene. Because they will commit transgressions, and too many transgressions, they'll be like, oh, I committed so many transgressions to this group, I better protect the group and leave, because I can't control myself anymore. Right? That's why people quit jobs, right? But let's take a different viewpoint on this. Suppose you, the owner, don't have an admin scale, or job descriptions, or hat write-ups, or ideal scenes. But forget about all the other technical things I just talked about. How about just the ideal scene? For that employee to completely, utterly, absolutely duplicate, so much so that his bonus depends on, or his pay depends on that ideal scene. Either it is, or there's a departure from it. Right? So if his pay was connected to the ideal scene, what would happen with that?
He would probably make an effort to understand what the scene is and produce it.
He has a personal
Stake it.
benefit or stake in making sure that he duplicates what's really needed and wanted so he can get his exchange. Right? So if you don't have these things, you don't present the ideal scene, you don't present the hat write-up or whatever you want to call it, because there's many things that we talk about on the board all the time that we talk about that you don't have. How is that any different than these three blind men with the elephant?
Right, they're all working on different ideas.
So what happens is, let's say you have a circumference like that. Let's just say that's a job description or a job, a post, and it's got that circumference. Okay? So there's two, this by the way, works very, very, very well with children. This is where I learned this, was with my two children. Okay? I have two girls. Girl comes in and says, what's sex? How do you answer the question?
That's not something you have after you get a pizza, right?
So now what's going to be her fixed idea from this point forward? Because she trusts you. So you could either fill the information with false data, or you can give her the truth. Okay? So basically what I'm trying to tell you is, and I'll probably spell this wrong, this is a vacuum. Is there anything in the vacuum? Yes?
No.
No?
To you.
Okay. So that's a vacuum. How's that vacuum going to get filled in the child's mind?
Whatever comes up, whatever is there, it's going to be pulled in. That's it.
So
Whatever they allow it to.
say it again.
Whatever they allow it to.
So if daddy's over here and he says, well, sweetheart, this is what sex is, and gives him the truth, what now becomes a stable datum in that vacuum?
That's true.
Okay? If daddy doesn't do that, and just no answer is the answer, and then the little girl in school that's the same age as her gives her a datum and answers the question, what happens now?
Got that down.
Is it correct?
Apparently.
Why? Why would you think it would be correct? She's the
She's
same
the same
age.
age as she is.
And what hasn't she done yet?
It depends where she's from. Probably at the.
We're gonna assume that she hasn't had sex.
Right.
Right? So what data is she giving her?
Whatever she's gotten her in.
It'd be pretty good chance it's false.
What if it's a priest that hasn't had sex? A little older, right?
Same difference. Bottom line is it's not valuable data. Because what's one thing that we don't do very well as human beings?
Communicate.
Speak for yourself.
We sort out the data so we understand what's valuable and see the data.
Evaluate the data.
That's right, valuable.
And I got proof of that. How do I know that we don't evaluate data? What's the biggest mechanism we have in this universe that we don't evaluate?
You know what?
Is that your water? It's cold. Oh, sorry. Is that mine over there?
Yeah.
Too bad I didn't sweat out of it. Can I have that, please? Sorry, man. Let me just see the water. So what's the biggest temperature? Yeah,
What is its weight?
I got it. Totally got it. As soon as you said that, I didn't even get that it was cold. There you go. I should
That's
have
our
paid
team
attention. The internet. How much data is on the internet?
Tons.
How many, what does Google mean? You know what Google means?
Everything.
Google's a mathematical number. I think it's something like
Right.
trillions or billion trillions or something. It's an actual number.
Mhm.
It's a huge number. That's what Google means. It's a mathematical number. Okay?
It's about 6 trillion.
6 trillion. It's above
Above
six
six
trillion. Yeah, there you go. It's a mathematical number. That's what Google means. That's where the word came from. How much of that data is valuable?
Has to be evaluated.
And how do you evaluate it? Does it give you a result or doesn't it? At the end of
Should
the
we
day,
apply it?
does it solve your problem? What's the definition of a solution? I have a problem, there's a solution, problem goes away. If you think you got a solution for a problem and the problem's still there, you've got false data. Because definition of solution is problem goes away. If you think, I got some guy who was in a meetup this morning, and he's a IT guy. We're talking about his wife's website, and I'm talking about this, and I'm talking about that, and he's bitching because he wants to get more people on the site and calling him. So I tell him 2 or 3 things, not that I'm smart, but I own about 60 websites, and I run about another 15, so it's about 75 websites that I run every day. I'm not saying I'm a smart guy here, but he's got 1, I've got 75. So just make some suggestions. Every single thing I said, he rebutted it. After 15 minutes of talking to him, what did I do? Just stopped talking to him because he had all the answers. I finally said to him, you don't have a problem with your website, you got a problem with a sales problem in your business. And he didn't want to confront that. But more to the point, if he had the solutions, he would be getting at least some better results than what he's getting now. Right? So here we have this vacuum. So is this fair to say this is an analogy of if your employee doesn't have some sort of a ideal scene or some picture that they can adjust to, what's going to happen? So the blind guy that's feeling the trunk of the elephant, is there a vacuum there? Yeah. He feels it, his observation tells him this must be a snake. There's the data. He now thinks that from this point forward, there's a dangerous snake in the room. How's that going to change his operating basis from this day forward when he's in that room or wherever he is? When he gets that same smell or that same temperature or whatever, all these things. Right? Now, the guy with the camera has the ideal scene. He knows what he's trying to do. Because he can see it, he gets it, he's got the picture, but he didn't explain it to nobody. Now, obviously, that's important at lower echelons, like the ditch digger. I want to bring it up a notch and talk about the manager. What about the manager? What happens if he has this misconception?
Well, it's going to affect everyone below him. Because if he doesn't know what the ideal scene is, he's not going to manage people towards it, not going to carry out the orders properly. You know, he can have his own ideal scene, and that's what he's operating from. So it could be counter to the company's ideal scene in general. And then you have a conflict between management and the executive board.
That's right. So now you come along, you come to this group, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to put my Mac in. Yeah, I'm going to put up my organization board, and I'm going to put in statistics, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And it hits the first level of management. Does the air get let out of your balloon or what?
Mhm.
Have you guys done that? No, you guys have. What happens? What happens?
No, I don't.
So a few weeks ago, I read you a reference from the Way to Happiness about governments. You remember that a few weeks ago? There's a precept in the Way to Happiness that talks about you have a government and you don't like what the government's doing, and if you talk up, you get arrested or get punished. So what's the only thing that you can do? Silently disagree. So if I work for you and I'm your manager and I don't see the ideal scene the way you do, or I just don't know what the ideal scene is, I think I got the ideal scene, and then you come along like I'm going to do this, and you pay me really good, I want to go get another job, what's going to happen?
You're going to have disagreement.
And silently disagree. But what did he say? What happens?
No, I don't.
We go on. Imagine that.
Now, what does go idle mean, basically?
Well, you get to a flat point and you,
And I said, just kind of sit at that point and.
yeah, I mean, you don't do it, there's no create, there's no discipline, there's no, it's just like, well, it gets to where it is and then it is. And it becomes a stable condition.
You're gonna do just enough, so you're gonna get fired, but not enough to make the boss happy. That would be ideal. Do just enough.
Keep your job and cruise on.
That's the guy that goes home at 4:30, takes weekends off. He has his own rules. Here's what I'm willing to do, what I'm not willing to do. He's the guy that kind of pussyfoot around, walk on eggshells.
Mhm.
There's a silent disagreement. And when you strip it back, you gotta remember my story about the poor man and the elephant. Because he or she has a viewpoint. And they think their viewpoint is right. Because they feel like it responded to their vacuum and answered their question. And they feel like they're right. Every human being feels that way. They feel like they're right. And sometimes it's not worth the argument of you being right or them being right. We call that reasonableness. You're being reasonable. What does that mean to be reasonable?
Give and take.
It means to let overts pass and let things go and not really kind of address them. You know, carry on as usual, you know, without any kind of attack on what's pulling you down. You know, when you spot something that's not correct, you just
Make
make
excuses
excuses so it
instead
justifies.
of handling it.
Yeah.
You make excuses. Well, he's paying me a lot of money, so he do whatever he wants. Instead of doing the right thing.
Right.
You're being reasonable. In the, on the Flourish and Prosper course, we call that low key. You're low key. What does low key mean, Joe? You remember?
What he means pulling back and
Not reaching.
fading off into the back. There's no-
You're not reaching. You're not protruding forward. You're just hanging like in the shadows. Taking whatever you can get. Hoping that it will be okay. Total letdown. Right? So, in a lot of businesses, what has to happen is you actually gotta have a PR campaign, a public relations campaign on the ideal scene. You gotta have an internal marketing campaign to get people to agree that the ideal scene will benefit everybody. But you really gotta look at that, because you gotta make sure, yes, it is gonna benefit everybody. I mean, Pam, my wife, goes into a business, and I mean, I was just with her. We went into in Providence, Rhode Island. We went into an acupuncturist doing $250,000 a month. 17 waiting rooms, or 17, what do you call them, rooms? Treatment rooms, that's all. 17 treatment rooms. It's a machine. They see 7,500 people a day. From all over the world.
7,500.
I'm sorry, 75 to 100 people a day. Well,
Wow,
about 450 to 500.
That's a lot for that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of needles, bing, bang, yeah.
And she went in and tore them up. Asking questions, and guess what? Dr. So-and-so has a few PR campaigns he needs to run. He's got 20 people or whatever on staff, and there's some disagreement in there, silent disagreement. And he's in there trying to push. And there's a ridge. Push, ridge. And he's plateaued. Managers working, staff are working. The place was beautiful, absolutely beautiful office. Right? Got some good marketing. Could improve it if they had some good marketing. Clicking it with SEO, websites, social media, direct mail, radio show. This guy's got his own radio show. Every Saturday he's on the radio. Click it along. Wonder how come I'm not expanding. One of those things. Disagreement.
That much a month too.
Say again?
That much a month too.
But it's silent disagreement. You don't know it's there. They're not telling you.
Not even picking up on it, other than the numbers not showing where he wants to do it.
So, the book that we've been talking a lot about, Speaking from Experience, have you read it? Twice? The first part of it is the administration scale. And what's the purpose of the administration scale? Yeah. Purpose of the administration scale, I told you last week. Remember, Jeff? Huh?
Yeah, what about?
You want to text somebody over there and see if they,
No, I'm writing to your wife.
I'm being mean right now. I'm treating you like a heckler.
I mean, like,
What are the 2 reasons why you need an administration scale, Jeff?
remember
Remember?
reasons?
Yeah.
I don't.
Why would you
verbatim, I don't
use them?
remember what they are. I know one of the things is so everybody's on the same page and they know what you're doing and we're all going after and playing the same game.
So what are the 2 reasons you would use an admin scale? That is 100% correct.
I don't know what specifically the 2 reasons are.
You know?
So
Now,
your-
go ahead.
So your goals, purposes, and policies match your ideal scene.
That's true. Go ahead, Al.
You can use them in a solve a situation or attain a goal. It'll be 2 reasons.
So the 2 main reasons that you would use an administration scale is you have this goal. I'm doing $10,000 a week and I want to get to $13,000 a week. And you can write an admin scale to do that. It's just a goal. It's something you want to do. You want to push the limits a little bit. Or you have an ideal scene and there's a departure from it. Ideal scene is I need to make 10 grand a week and I keep making 6. You write an admin scale. Those are the 2 reasons why you write an admin scale. See, we make such a big deal about this admin scale thing that it's like, you know, you write one at the beginning of the year and you set your goals for the year and it's like this goal setting thing. And you can do that. But if you learn how to use the admin scale tool, you could buzz through an admin scale. I mean, I sit down, I usually write 1.5 hour, 45 minutes, an entire admin scale.
Well, let me ask you a question on that. So you're the head of your company, right? You're writing the admin scale for the company. So how do you take your ideal scene, right? Because it's coming out of your head. You might have employees in there that have contribution. Maybe they have a scene that they want to see as well. Would you blend that, or is this a dictatorship in the sense of, hey, this is the ideal scene?
This is the point of tonight's lecture. 4 guys in the alley. That exact point is the reason for tonight's lecture. So what I would do in your situation, first thing I would do is survey the staff. What do they think?
Mhm.
And it could be, what's the definition of enlightenment?
Definition of enlightenment,
What does it mean to enlighten someone?
the realization of something.
That's right. So the guy's here, and after you get done giving him data or an enlightenment session, he's here now. He's got more data, and he's enlightened. Or he has something like, oh,
Mhm.
right? So it could be just as simple as sitting down with one of these employees, because, oh yeah, by the way, if you've got 5 employees in your business, how many bad ones are there? 80-20 rule.
Mhm.
How many bad ones are there? There's one in there.
Mhm.
It's a potential trouble source, or suppressive, or antisocial, or something like that. A guy that's in there making trouble, deliberately, intentionally, calculatively making trouble. So you come along with this admin scale and you try to shove it in, what's he gonna do?
It's gonna shove it down.
He's gonna tell everybody how bad it is, and how you're trying to hurt them, and how it's not gonna work, how it's gonna affect their pay, and it's gonna scare customers, and all these things. Right? So that's gonna happen no matter what. When you write the admin scale, wouldn't it make sense that you encompass that? And this does not have to be some long drawn out thing. I mean, you guys know this stuff in your business. We sit down and talk to you individually. You name names. You name people. Right, Al?
Yep.
Al, how many clients you got now? 10? 8?
Doesn't-
A dozen clients? How many times you've had that conversation? Am I right? They name the names, one for one. You know who they are. But the answer,
The way to solve that is to rigorously manage statistics.
Right.
Then you will get rid of the 20%. And you'll have an onboard crew.
but to answer your question, you need to find out what's the reality. What does the guy think the elephant's trunk is? What does he think the tusk is? What does he think the trunk is? I mean, his foot is. Because they got their own ideas. Remember the guy, the blind guy with the feeling the elephant's trunk thinks it's a snake?
Mhm.
The other guy feels he thinks it's a sword. The other guy feels, well, maybe it's just a matter of enlightening them. Maybe it's having them do some training materials, so they can get it.
Well, that's the stage I'm at now, because that's what we're doing. And the thing is, like, I've been idle in my practice, we've been doing well, but, you know, I'm gonna step up the game. And so this is really kind of a good talk for me, because I'm really seeing, and it's funny, it's ironic, because that's exactly what I did today with a little bit of enlightenment. But it really is important to kind of sit down. I have a small staff, I have 3 people. My wife is one, and I have a great associate. But we had different visions on how to kind of get things done, just a little bit, just a little tiny thing. We got that squared away today, and it was like all of a sudden, now ducks are starting to move in the right direction. So there's enlightenment about, let's get trend.
Establishment series alone. One of the steps of establishment series is sit down and do product clearing with them. What is your product? What does that mean to you? Wow. Wow. I've seen Pam do that, and I'm telling you, I fall out of my freaking chair. Guy's a salesman. He's a salesman. He's posted as a salesman and gives every answer except salesman. Doesn't even know it. Doesn't even know that's his product. And that's very real. This guy here is trying to start a new business. What's Al got to do? We got to figure out, what is his product? Is it valuable? Is it worth having? That's product clearing. That's making sure that he knows what it is, and yes, that it's valuable. We need to survey some people. We need to talk to some people. Like, would you buy this? You think this is valuable? Go find out who is his public. The way all that works in your business works internally too. Who do you hand off your product to? Who's thankful for your product? Who wants to be around you? Who doesn't want to be around you? And then it comes back to what Al says. What statistic will it increase or decrease? And if the statistic increases, what do I get? And if it decreases,
It's a consequence.
and I have some very strong, simple viewpoints about that whole scenario. Like, for example, Pam and I spent 10 hours or 8 hours or whatever it was in this guy's business. She came out, and now you know my wife, extremely trained. I know she's got conclusions. She's going to write one mad write-up. As soon as she gets in the car, she says to me, "What's your thing?" You don't want to hear it. Why? Because I know you're not going to do anything with it, and it's a waste of my breath. She said, "No, I want to know what it is." I said, "Pam, I listen to these people all day long, and I heard a bunch of stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, he doesn't have the right pay program in. And that's too simple for you. If he had the right pay program in, 60% of the problems we heard today would go away." And I only know that because I sat with 400 or 500 business owners a year for 5 years, and it was something I figured out after doing it for 3 years. What's their incentive? And if you tie your statistics and their training and their create and everything to what they're getting, it's magic. Because that's what you do, that's what you do, that's what you do. You're on the payment program, you're on the benefit program. You can't pay your bills. It becomes a hard to live with group. If everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing and everybody's working together and you're getting a few ching at the end, or maybe it's not even pay. Maybe it's just pay my mortgage and let me drive this nice car and buy nice groceries. Buy health food groceries, whatever it is. Go on vacation once a year to the Bahamas and it pays for whatever it is. There's a reward for you. Think they're different? So to answer your question in a roundabout way, I would sit down and say, if you had the ideal pay structure, what would it be? I can't tell you how many, oh my God, I'm done. I can't tell you how many salespeople I've hired. And one for one, they always ask me what the pay program is. You know what my answer is? I'm not sure yet. Why don't you draw one up and propose it to me? everything. Because now I know where their motivation is. I know I want to pay $60,000 a year, I just play with the numbers. The guy wants $100,000 a year, no problem. Here's your base salary, it's $60,000 a year. Here's your bonuses. You hit these bonuses, you make $100,000 a year. Works every time. So now in 6 months from now, or as we used to call them, the 90-day wonders, and 90 days from now, when you wonder why the hell you hired the guy, you say to the guy, oh, well, you're not, well, here's your statistics. I used your pay program, what happened? I don't understand. You said you could and would and should, and what happened? It's a little bit of a make-run flow, but it works. Because what's he gonna say? 4 men and an elephant. And oh yeah, by the way, I just gotta get one more plug. I know I'm 8, 9 minutes over. You okay? You ready for this? What club am I forming? Remember the name of the club?
Oh, the high five.
The High Five Club. That's my new thing. I'm forming the High Five Club. What the High Five Club is? You make high five figures in your pocket. No. Spendable money. And here's what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna sell all you guys on being part of the High Five Club and ask Al to do it.
I gotta work with these guys? I'll have to.
I gotta have some fun. That's it for tonight. The High Five Club.